Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sandra's stenography and shorthand dictation. And if you're also hearing this on my podcast at Let's Write Steno, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am doing something a little different tonight. I am doing a video at the same time I am recording on Anchor. So, which is my podcast home. So I got my fingers crossed that everything works out on both ends. So welcome everybody, whether you're watching this on YouTube or whether you are on Anchor, welcome, or listening to this on one of my podcasts, Let's Write Steno. And of course, that is distributed to all of the major podcast distributors: Google, Apple, Stitcher. It's everywhere, guys. Just type it in. As far as my YouTube channel, hello everyone. I see you out there. Hope everyone is doing well in both genres. And I can't wait to get started with tonight's dictation. A little different for me tonight, but I hope everything works out. All right. If you have not subscribed to either one of my channels, please do so today. So we've got the YouTube channel at Sandra Steno for short. Please subscribe over there. I have a call to action where I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So please, please, please help me out. And as far as Anchor is concerned, or my podcast, Let's Write Steno, please subscribe there too. I could really use your help because that is quite new. If you did not know I had a podcast, yes, it's Let's Write Steno, and you can find it, as I said before, on all of the major podcast players. And please go over there and enjoy. Now, it is new, so right now we're on season 4, and I believe this is going to be episode 6, maybe 7. Um, let's go ahead and get into this tonight. This is from the District Court of the 10th Judicial District of the state of Montana, and for the county of Meagher, Meagher. Robert W. Bride is the plaintiff versus Charles L. Keeley. That's with 2 E's, so that is spelled Keeley. That is the defendant. This is a deposition. Deposition of Lawrence Bates, a witness of lawful age, taken on behalf of the plaintiff in the case of Robert W. Bride, plaintiff, versus Charles L. Keeley, the defendant, pending in the District Court of the 10th Judicial District of the state of Montana, in and for the county of Meagher, pursuant to stipulation hereto attached, duly signed by the attorneys for the respective parties, before Robert F. Rose, a notary public in and for the county of Lewis and Clark and state of Montana, at his office in the electric block in the city of Helena, county of Lewis and Clark, on the 21st day of October 1912 at the hour of 9 o'clock a.m. Who's present? Mr. O.B. Winston, attorney for the plaintiff, and Mr. Charles C. Norton, attorney for the defendant. Whereupon the following proceedings were had and testimony taken. Ready? And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lawrence Bates, a witness of lawful age, was produced on behalf of the plaintiff, and having been first duly sworn by the notary public, testified as follows. Direct examination by Mr. Winston. Question: Please state your name, Mr. Bates. Answer: Lawrence Bates. Question: And your occupation and residence? Answer: I am in the real estate business, and, well, I have no set residence. Question: What do you consider your address? Answer: Well, partly at one place and partly at another. Partly at White Sulphur Springs, and partly at Chicago, and partly at Helena, and partly at St. Paul. Question: I will ask you if you will please state the circumstances under which you first became acquainted in any way with the Gleason Ranch in Sweet Grass and Meager counties, Montana. Answer: Well, I first heard of the ranch through my father. I had no description of it, but was told that Mr. Keeley of Harlow Town had some lands around there, and that in all probability he could put me next to some deals. And I went to Harlow Town some time afterward, and I met Mr. Keeley there, and he mentioned several properties to me, and he wanted me to see some of them. As near as I can remember, I saw some of them and others I did not. Question: Did you first talk in regard to the Gleason Ranch with Mr. Keeley or Mr. Bride? Answer: I never met Mr. Bride. Question: I will get you to state the first conversation you had in regard to those lands. Answer: As near as I can recall, I had my first conversation with my father and then with Mr. Keeley. Question: Do you remember when it was you had your first conversation with Mr. Keeley in regard to those lands? Answer: No, I do not remember exactly. Question: I would like for you to state, with reference to the time that you bought the ranch, about how long prior to that was it that you first talked with Mr. Keeley? Answer: To the best of my recollection, it was about June 18th, 2008, something like that. Question: And you had not talked with him regarding the ranch prior to that time? Answer: As well as I can remember, I had not. I think that he had produced an option and said something about it, but it did not look very good to me. Question: I will ask you to state in your own way what the dealings were that you had with Mr. Keeley regarding that land, particularly with reference to the time. Answer: you see, it was about 4 years ago, and I did not keep a diary, but as near as I can remember, it was in June. Question: did you write about it? Answer: no, sir. Question: do you remember the first conversation you had with him in regard to this land? Answer: he said he had an option. I said it was not much good because it only ran 10 days and the payments were too heavy. Question: it must have run more than 10 days at that time. Answer: no, sir. Not when I was figuring on the land. He wanted me to go out and see the ranch anyway. Question: and you said no? Mr. Norton: that is objected to as leading and suggestive. Answer: I did not care to pay Keeley a commission on a deal of that kind. Mr. Winston: when did you next have a conversation with him about it? Answer: about that time. He wanted me to go and see it, and he paid for the rig. Question: was this conversation in the morning or in the afternoon? Answer: I do not know. Question: I will get you to state where it was. Answer: I think it was on the street in Harlowtown. Question: you went out with him on that day, or was it the next day? Answer: no, I did not go with him. He hired a rig and sent me out. Question: when did you come back? Answer: I think it was the following day. I think I spent that night on the ranch and came back the following day. Question: what did you think of the land? Mr. Norton: that is objected to as to incompetent, irrelevant, and immaterial. Answer: it looked like a good ranch. Mr. Winston: it looked to be worth more than $5.50 an acre. Mr. Norton: that is objected to as incompetent, irrelevant, and immaterial, and for the further reason that it has no bearing on the matters set forth in the petition in this proceeding. Answer: it looked as if it were worth that much money. Mr. Winston: how many acres were there in that land? Answer: 8,826 acres. Question: when you got back to Harlowton, what did you do next? Answer: I saw Keeley. Question: did you try to get a buyer? Mr. Norton: I object to that as leading and suggestive. Mr. Winston: did you say to Keeley that you would try to get a buyer? Mr. Norton: I make the same objection. Answer: no, I do not think I told Keeley anything like that. Mr. Winston: do you recall what you did say? Answer, as near as I can remember, I told him that the option was not worth anything and that I had a talk with Gleason, and Gleason had said he would give me another option. Question, Gleason said that he would give you another option when that one expired. Answer, I think so. Or if I got that one out of the way, he would give me another option. Question, state whether or not you had to get this paper out of the way or to wait until July 1st when it ran out. Answer, yes, sir. Question, I would like to know the date of the next transaction concerning that land or the purchase of it. Answer, the following day when Gleason came there. Question, was that the day following your return to Harlowton? Answer, as near as I can remember, it was. It must have been the following day. Question, in other words, it was about 3 or 4 days after you had the talk with Keeley about the ranch? Answer, yes. Question, I would like to know what happened the day when he came in. Answer, I think Keeley wanted some money for the option. How much? I have forgotten. And I told him that I would give him $50 to pay his expenses because it wasn't worth anything to me. Question, was that the day Mr. Gleason came in? Answer, yes. Question, I will ask you to state whether or not you had shown this land to Nelson. Answer, I think Mr. Nelson came out later. Question, from St. Paul? Answer, from Iowa. He was not a buyer in no sense of the word. He was simply a promoter. Question, why did you show him the land? Answer, because I wanted to have him see it. If he was going to sell stock in the company. Question, are you sure that Nelson came there after you had purchased this ranch? Answer, yes, sir. He was associated with us. Question, I would like for you to give me the conversation you had with Keeley concerning this $50, the purchase price for the option. Answer, as near as I can say, Keeley wanted a large commission, an unreasonable commission. Question, about how much did he want? Answer, I do not remember how much, possibly 25 or 50 cents an acre. Question, state whether or not you argued that with him. Answer, no, sir, I did not. I told him I would not pay it because it was my business to buy property without paying a commission. Question, and this lasted several hours, this discussion as to whether he would give it to you without a commission? Answer, I do not know whether or not it was an hour or 15 minutes. Question, now to refresh your recollection, didn't he continue to insist for a commission? Answer, yes, but I would not pay for it. I told him I would give him $50. Question I will ask, if he did not say to you, what am I going to get if the deal goes through? Answer, no, sir. That came afterwards. After the deal was all through and Mr. Gleason had signed up with an option with me at a later date. Question I will ask you, if you did not say to Keely at that time that you would do what was right? Answer, no, I did not. Question, what did you say? Answer, Keely said, quote, if you come out on this deal all right and make some money, you will remember me, won't you? Or something like that. Question, and you said yes? Answer, no, sir. I did not bind myself at all. I said in a laughing way that we would look after him or something of that kind. Question, isn't it a fact that you told me and Butte, Mr. Bates, that the conversation was like this, that Keely said to you, quote, if this deal goes through, close quote. No, didn't you say this? Quote, what do you expect out of this? Close quote. Or something like that. And didn't he say, quote, whatever is right? Close quote. Answer, no, I do not think so. I do not think I said anything like that. I said to you in Butte practically what I have said here to my best recollection. Question, you mentioned the word, quote, right, close quote, over there, Mr. Bates. Answer, I could not, Mr. Winston, for the reason that I am not absolutely clear what I did say. I was not under oath at that time, but I told you what happened to my best recollection, as it does not make any difference to me. Question, I will ask you, Mr. Bates, isn't it a fact that you told me in the dining room of the Thornton, didn't you use the phrase that Keely had said, quote, whatever is right, close quote, or, quote, what is right, close quote? Answer, whether I said or not, if I did say anything, it was whatever I saw fit to give him, close quote. If I did not want to give him anything, I did not have to. I was not bound to give him anything. I never thought I was bound to give him anything. Question, are you willing to swear that you did not say to me that Keely answered when you asked him, quote, what do you expect to get out of it, close quote, that Keely answered, quote, whatever is right, close quote. Mr. Norton, this is objected to as to be incompetent, irrelevant, and immaterial. And Mr. Winston, I will refer to the date to make it clear. Mr. Norton, please let me get in my objection. And further, has no bearing upon any of the matters set forth in the petition in this case. Mr. Winston, it was a matter of 15 or 16 days ago. Answer, it makes no difference. I remember the time. Question, would you be willing to swear that you did not say that? Answer, I said a whole lot of things to you, Mr. Winston, not as a witness, but to give you the straight and unbiased truth concerning this transaction. You did not understand me if you got the impression that I said, quote, whatever was right, close quote, because I said that I would take care of him or something like that. I had no idea I would be able to swing the deal because I had no idea that Nelson and our company would be able to handle it, because such a transaction takes a whole lot of money. We're going to stop right there. It's pretty much about, give or take, about 28, 29 minutes of dictation there. I don't want to go over. I hope this has helped you guys. I am so glad to be back on YouTube. I miss you guys over there. And if everything works out with this first podcast, YouTube thingy I got going on here, I will definitely be back with more dictation. Please, guys, go over there, check out my Anchor. Check me out on Anchor FM and all of the major podcast players. At Let's Write Steno, we're on season 4. So please, guys, go over there, check out what I'm doing. Please subscribe when you go. I know you're gonna love it just as much as you love the channel. Subscribe to both, please, to help me out, guys. I really appreciate it. And as always, love, peace, and steno. The Duchess is out.